Welcome, collectors. Thank you for joining me for another Diecast Emporium video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a classic Conrad model. This is the Caterpillar PS500 Pneumatic Tire Compactor or Roller. Now, strangely enough, this model produced in the mid-1980s is the latest, you heard that right, the latest pneumatic tire die-cast roller produced in the Caterpillar scale model range. So we are long overdue for a new pneumatic tire roller in 1/50th scale in die-cast. So you guys know me, I am a huge fan of asphalt paving equipment, particularly from Caterpillar. So if there's something that we need in 1/50th scale from Caterpillar Diecast Masters, this is a perfect example of a machine that we would love to see. Now, obviously, the PS500 has gone through many changes, many technological advances in the past 30-some years. But when this model was produced in the mid-80s, Conrad replicated the latest PS500 that was available to the market. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging, and then we will take a look at the model that's inside. So there it is. If you've never seen an old Conrad Caterpillar box, they're pretty interesting. They have a nice picture of the model on the side, and then Caterpillar PS500 on here, licensed by Caterpillar Tractor Company. But really, everything's kind of butt backwards. Things are upside down. They're just kind of all over the place. That's just kind of how things were. Not really sure why they chose to do the packaging design that way, but hey, it is what it is. So back in the 80s and early 90s, Conrad was a authorized, licensed model maker for Caterpillar products. The model number here is 2741, 1/50 scale, again, made in West Germany, so prior to the fall of the Berlin Wall. All right, let's unbox this thing and take a look at it. To my knowledge, there could be more, but there were 3 variations of this model made. Again, we'll go into that in further detail once we actually have it in front of us. None of the 3 are really any more rare than the other. Kind of as just with time, they're all pretty difficult to find now. So let's take the protection off of it, and there you go. You're all set to display it. So, as I said, to my knowledge, there are 3 versions of the Conrad PS500 pneumatic tire roller that were made. This version is the old Cat logo, the Beltline era logo, with the vertical steps. Now, they also made the vertical steps in the new Cat Pyramid logo of the early 90s, and they also made old Cat yellow with staggered steps, so you'll see the steps kind of zigzagging all the way down. Again, to my knowledge, not one of the 3, not any particular one of the 3 is any more rare than the other, but the version I have is the old color with the vertical steps, as you can see right here. Okay, so with that done, let's take a much closer in-depth look of the model. As you can see, this machine, interestingly enough, has a series of steering wheels. Not 1, but 3. And that's so wherever the operator is, he can have a better field of view of what's going on. You also may have heard of pneumatic tire rollers as finishing rollers, and that's because once the big steel drum rollers go by, these usually follow it just to do the finish of the mat, just to make sure everything is nice and smooth and shiny, if you will. This model, again, for its age, does feature a little bit of steering. Again, I'm not sure if that was supposed to be modeled in, but you can mimic some slight steering angles on it, and you can do so even more so with the front axles on this, as you can see here. Again, you got to be a little bit careful, obviously, and make sure all your axles are going in the right direction, as you can see here. So we'll get them all pointed straight. Make sure we're all going to the same place. There we go. There you go. Now, as for the decal application, as you can see on here, again, we're talking mid-80s here, guys, so it's not the highest quality, but as you can see, it's held up quite well. You can see it's got a couple tie-down location logos here, another one here, your Block C logo, PS500, and your Beltline Caterpillar. Has a rubber exhaust. The steering wheels are also rubber. Here's your air cleaner, which is casted into the die cast as well. I do enjoy the steps because they are casted in as well. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. That might be a ballast of some sort for weight. If somebody knows what this is on these old rollers, please let me know. I could not find out what that was. It's a texturing of some kind, so it would not surprise me if that's some sort of gravel or something that they would have used for ballast on the rear. Again, I'm not 100% sure. Again, I mentioned that it has front steering across the front 3 tires. I don't think the rear are supposed to steer, but again, if you wanted to mimic it in crab steering, you could. The inside of the cab is really decently detailed. Again, you can see a seat, the steering wheel. Cab itself is metal. It looks like it possibly could come off. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little connecting thing there. So if you wanted to have a open machine and build perhaps a ROPS around it, not necessarily a closed-off cab, potentially that's possible. Obviously, I'm not going to yank the cab off of this particular model and see if it is designed to do that. But overall, I got to say, I'm a huge fan of this. I have been lucky enough in the course of my lifetime to see a couple of these old PS500 pneumatic tire rollers actually still operating. One as recently as 2010, almost this exact same model in the Beltline, in fact. So they are still out there. They are still getting it done. Again, as I mentioned during the introduction of the video, I would love to see a company like Diecast Masters, for example, make a new pneumatic tire roller in 1/50th scale. I think it would complement their asphalt equipment paving line very, very well. Again, it's something that's underrepresented in the 1/50th scale construction industry, and I do believe it would sell very, very well. I know for sure I would buy one. So there you go. That's my review on the Conrad PS500. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. I did, just to close out this video, I did bring a couple other rollers out just to show you. They're not pneumatic tire rollers, but I mentioned that you'd have your steel drum rollers come through first. So I wanted to show you kind of 2 of my favorite Cat ones anyway. This is the old Norscot CB534D XW. They did 2 versions of this. This is obviously the one with the rollover protection structure, and they also did an enclosed cab. Originally done by Norscot, and then again adapted, modified, and retooled for the Core Classics line by Diecast Masters in the mid-2010s. Now, if you want the latest and greatest roller in the Cat line, I can offer you this, the Cat CB13. Again, a roller that they did two versions of it. This is the more US style with the ROPS, but you can also get the, what I refer to commonly as the European style with the closed-off, pampered, air-conditioned, sealed-off, noise-canceling cab. But this one that you see here in the States, with the obviously much cheaper option, in the real world, of course, the most cheaper option of the standard protection ROPS. Again, a great-looking machine. Looks fantastic in a paving diorama following a paver and obviously a truck dumping into the paver. So you guys let me know what you think down in the comments section below. Obviously, if you can find one of these PS500s, I definitely would encourage you to get it. I would not pay for what some of the websites are saying that this model is worth. When I recently checked just a few minutes before I did this video, all 3 variations of this on one of the websites, I will not name the website, but they were going for over $200 a piece. I think that's a little steep, I'm going to be honest with you. All due respect to parties involved. That being said, if you can find one of these for a reasonable price going on auction for maybe a seller that bought a bunch of diecast vehicles that perhaps he doesn't maybe know exactly what he has, and he listed one of these for between $30 and $50, I would snatch it up immediately, no questions asked. As always, I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, take care, be safe. I'll see you in the next review.